I was doing everything right, or so I thought, eating healthy, exercising, drinking plenty of water, but something still felt off. My digestion was unpredictable, I was always bloated, and I kept gaining weight even though my portions were small. One day, my doctor looked me straight in the eye and said, "It's not just what you're eating, it's what you're mixing together." That moment changed everything, and what I learned shocked me. Turns out, certain food combinations can wreck your digestion, drain your energy, and accelerate aging, especially after 60. Let me share the real story and what I did to fix it. Why. Your stomach changes after 60, and why that matters? When I was younger, I could eat just about anything. A spicy curry, a plate of greasy fries, maybe even a slice of cake and a cup of tea all in one sitting, and my stomach, not a peep. It digested everything without complaint. But after I turned 60, everything started changing, and, not in a way I expected, it started subtly. A bit more bloating after meals, a strange feeling of heaviness that didn't go away. I brushed it off at first, blaming a bad batch, or maybe I just ate too fast. But it kept happening, again and again, even when I ate small, healthy meals. Then came the acid reflux, the gas, the constipation, the strange fatigue after eating. Meals that once energized me suddenly made me feel like I needed a nap. That's when I knew something was wrong, not with the food itself, but with how my body was reacting to it. Aging affects digestion. Silently but seriously. It wasn't until I sat down with a nutritionist that I finally understood what was happening. She explained that digestion isn't just about what you eat, but also about how your body breaks it down. And as we age, that system, once smooth and reliable, starts to slow down. Here's what I learned. Stomach acid production decreases. With age, this one hit me hard. I'd always thought acid reflux was caused by too much acid, but it turns out, many seniors experience reflux because they have too little stomach acid, which makes digestion incomplete and allows food to linger. Digestive enzymes become less efficient. These enzymes are the tiny workers in your gut that break down fats, proteins, and carbs. Over time, they don't show up to work like they used to. That means food isn't digested properly, leading to bloating, gas, and discomfort. Gut motility slows down. In simple terms, everything moves slower. Food doesn't pass through as quickly, and that leads to constipation, cramping, or even bacterial overgrowth in the intestines. Microbiome balance shifts. Our gut is filled with friendly bacteria that help digest food and fight disease. But with age, especially after 60, those bacteria start to change. And not always for the better, especially if we're eating poorly combined meals. I suddenly realized that I wasn't just getting old. I was asking my older digestive system to work like a younger one. The problem isn't always the food, it's the combination. What shocked me most wasn't just the digestion. Slow down, it was how certain foods, when eaten together, made the problem 10 times worse. The nutritionist gave me a list of combinations to avoid, and I was floored. I had been eating these foods side by side for decades, completely unaware of the damage. She said, "You're not eating wrong. You're eating wrong for your age. Your digestive fire isn't what it used to." Beyond combining the wrong things is like throwing cold water on a weak flame. That metaphor stuck with me. I learned that some combinations require too many different enzymes, which the aging body can't handle well. For example, mixing starch and protein like rice and meat requires alkaline and acidic environments, and the older gut can't balance them efficiently. Pairing fruit with dairy, like a banana smoothie or fruit yogurt, can cause fermentation in the gut, leading to gas and bloating. Eating heavy fats and sugars together like pastries or rich desserts slows everything down and causes inflammation. No wonder I felt tired and bloated after eating. My body was trying to fight a battle inside me with fewer soldiers than before. The missing link between digestion and energy here. What really blew my mind. Poor food combinations didn't just affect my stomach, they affected my mind. Every time I ate a heavy, improperly combined meal, I felt foggy, sluggish, and emotionally off. I used to call it a food coma, but I now know it was digestive stress. My body was using all its energy to figure out the mess I'd sent down, leaving my brain under-fueled. That realization changed everything. Because as a senior, the one thing I value most is mental clarity. I want to be alert, sharp, and emotionally balanced, not stuck on the couch, wondering why I feel awful after lunch. My doctor confirmed ED. I took this information to my doctor, a very practical man who rarely endorses diet trends. But even he agreed. The gut is your second brain. At your age, protecting it is one of the smartest things you can do. He explained that improper digestion leads to inflammation, and chronic inflammation is the root of nearly every disease we face in old age. From arthritis to heart problems to memory decline. He recommended I start paying attention to how I feel after each meal, not just what's on my plate. So I did. And the results were immediate. What I changed first, I didn't throw out my entire meal plan overnight. I just made 3 small changes. Stopped mixing fruit with meals. I now eat fruit as a standalone snack, usually in the morning or mid. No more adding it to cereal or yogurt. Separated protein and starch. If I'm eating chicken, I pair it with vegetables, not rice. If I want rice or bread, I skip the meat and add lentils or veggies instead. Simplified dinner. I used to pile on the variety bread, soup, meat, dessert. Now, I eat lighter, simpler meals at night, which helps me sleep and digest better. These changes took me just 1 week to implement, but the effect was profound. Less bloating, more energy, clearer thoughts, better sleep. Final thoughts for this section. I used to think food was just fuel, but after 60, food becomes something more. It becomes medicine, or poison, depending on how we eat it. Understanding that my digestive system had changed gave me the freedom to work with it, not against it. And guess what? My body responded. It didn't need a miracle, it just needed respect. The dangerous combo I was eating every day without knowing. If you had asked me a year ago what I thought the healthiest breakfast was, I would have proudly listed off what had become my go-to morning meal: a bowl of fruit, low-fat yogurt, and a slice of whole-grain toast. Add a splash of honey or a cup of tea on the side, and I was convinced I had cracked the code for healthy aging. But that one meal, the one I thought was keeping me fit, was actually draining my energy, hurting my digestion, and triggering inflammation. And I had no clue. It wasn't until I kept a meal journal, like my doctor suggested, that I began noticing a pattern. Every morning around 10:30 a.m., just 2 hours after eating, I'd start feeling tired, bloated, even a bit irritable. I blamed poor sleep, my age, even stress. But it wasn't any of those things. The problem was right on my plate. The fruit plus dairy trap. Let's talk about the first combo. Fruit and yogurt. Seems healthy, right? Fresh, natural, full of vitamins. But here's what I didn't know. Acidic fruits like berries or citrus with dairy causes fermentation in the gut, and for someone like me, over 60, with already slower digestion, that's a recipe for gas, bloating, and discomfort. My nutritionist explained it like this. Fruit digests quickly. Dairy takes longer. When you eat them together, the fruit gets stuck behind and starts fermenting in the gut, creating gas and toxins. I was shocked. I thought I was doing something good for my body, but I was basically creating a digestive traffic jam every morning. And the worst part? That fermentation can damage your gut lining and disrupt your microbiome, especially as we age. Toast plus tea equals trouble. The second mistake, my slice of whole grain toast and cup of black tea, again sounds innocent. But here's the catch. Tea, especially black or green tea, contains tannins that interfere with iron absorption. And toast, being a starch, requires a different set of digestive enzymes than fruit or dairy. So what I had created was a meal full of mismatched foods, each needing its own environment to break down in. My aging gut couldn't keep up. It was like trying to run 3 different apps on a phone from 2005. Something was bound to crash. Other hidden combos I didn't know were harmful. As I dug deeper, I found more examples of food pairings that sounded healthy, but were secretly causing chaos in my body. Here are a few I used to eat all the time. 1. Meat and potatoes. Classic comfort food. But protein meat needs an acidic environment to digest, while starches potatoes need an alkaline one. Eat them together and your stomach gets confused, leading to bloating and slow digestion. 2. Banana and milk. My post-walk smoothie. Turns out this combo is heavy and mucus forming, something I definitely don't need at my age. It left me foggy and sluggish. 3. Tomato and cucumber in salads. This one blew my mind. Tomatoes are acidic, cucumbers are alkaline. Together, they can neutralize each other's digestive enzymes and cause bloating. None of these are bad foods on their own. The problem lies in how they're paired, and for someone in their 60s or 70s, those pairings make a huge difference. Why I didn't notice sooner. The scariest part was how long I ignored the signs. I assumed my symptoms were just normal aging, the tiredness, the stomach trouble, the mid-morning brain fog, but they weren't. They were messages from my body telling me it couldn't keep doing what it did when I was 30 or 40. We don't talk about this enough. Most of us believe that healthy food is just healthy food. But what no one tells us is that after 60, our digestion works differently, and we need to eat smarter, not just cleaner. What I did to break the habit, I realized my favorite breakfast was doing more harm than good. I decided to switch things up, but gently. Here's how I eased into new food combinations that worked better for my body. I separated my fruit now. I eat fruit by itself, usually first thing in the morning or mid-afternoon. It digests quickly and gives me energy without mixing badly with anything else. I replaced yogurt. Instead of mixing yogurt with fruit, I have it with nuts or seeds, or add a pinch of cinnamon for flavor. No more bloating, and I actually feel satisfied. I ditched toast at breakfast. Starches at breakfast made me feel sleepy. So I began starting my day with protein and healthy fats, like eggs with sautéed spinach or a small handful of nuts. And berries on the side? Much better. I drink tea separately. I still enjoy my cup of tea, but now I drink it 30 minutes before or after meals, not with them. That alone improved my digestion significantly. The morning I felt the morning. Just a week into my new routine, I finished breakfast and didn't feel tired. In fact, I felt light, focused, and even energized. No bloat, no fog, no need to lie down. That's when it hit me. This was how food was supposed to make me feel. For the first time in years, I felt like my body was working with me, not against me. Lessons I wish I'd learned earlier looking back. I wish someone had told me all this sooner. I wish I'd known that being over 60 meant I had to respect my digestion, not ignore it. I spent so many years eating healthy in a way that just didn't match the way my body had changed. But now, I understand. I don't need fad diets. I don't need pills or powders. I just need to stop combining foods that fight each other inside me. That one realization has transformed my mornings and my health. Action tip for you if you're over 60. Here's a simple experiment. Keep a food and symptom journal for 3 days. Write down what you ate, how you felt. 1 to 2 hours later, you might be surprised at what patterns emerge. Look especially for meals that combine fruit plus dairy, protein plus starch, tea, or coffee plus iron-rich foods. Then try separating those combinations. Give it a week. Listen to your body. You'll likely feel lighter, more energetic, and more in control than you've felt in years. Never mix these 3 food pairings that hurt seniors the most. You know how some people say, it's not what you eat, it's how you eat it. I never really gave that much thought until I hit my 60s. I figured if the ingredients were fresh, whole, and low in sugar or fat, I was doing the right thing. But the truth is, as we age, the combinations we choose matter just as much, sometimes more than the quality of the food itself. After my own wake-up call with bad breakfast pairings, I started digging deeper. I became obsessed with learning how certain food combinations affect digestion, inflammation, and even mental clarity. I started asking questions, reading research, and paying attention to how my body felt after meals, and what I discovered shocked me. Today, I'm going to share the 3 food combinations that hurt my health the most, and that I believe every senior should avoid or at least be cautious about. These combinations might seem innocent, or even healthy, but for people over 60, they can cause fatigue, gas, bloating, and even long-term inflammation. If I had known about them earlier, I would have changed the way I eat a lot sooner. Combo number 1. Meat plus potatoes, protein plus starch. Let's start with the classic. Meat and potatoes. I grew up on this combo. Roast beef with mashed potatoes. Chicken with rice, fish with fries. You name it. If it had protein and a starchy side, it was on my plate. And to be honest, I never thought twice about it. It tasted good, it filled me up, and it reminded me of family dinners. But here's the deal. Your stomach produces different enzymes for digesting protein and carbohydrates. Protein needs an acidic environment, while starches need an alkaline one. When you eat them together, your digestive system goes into conflict mode. It struggles to break both down efficiently, leading to gas, bloating, sluggishness, acid reflux in my case. I started noticing how heavy I felt after eating a steak dinner with a baked potato. I would be tired, irritable, and uncomfortable for hours. But when I separated the 2, eating meat with vegetables, or carbs with plant-based proteins, I felt lighter and more energized. These days, if I have chicken, I pair it with a leafy salad or steamed broccoli. If I'm craving potatoes or rice, I'll enjoy them with lentils or grilled vegetables instead. Combo number 2. Fruit plus any main meal. This one took me by surprise. I've always loved fruit, especially at lunch or dinner. I'd toss pineapple chunks into my stir-fry, eat mango slices with fish, or enjoy grapes with cheese. But my digestion didn't love it back. Here's why. Fruit digests incredibly fast within 30 minutes. Other foods like protein or fat take hours. When you eat fruit after or with a main meal, it ends up getting stuck in the digestive queue. While it waits, it ferments, causing gas, bloating, and in some cases, even inflammation. At first, I didn't believe it. I thought, it's just fruit. What harm could it do? But when I tried eating fruit only on an empty stomach, the results were clear. No more post-meal bloating, better energy, and yes, even clearer skin now. I enjoy my fruits mid-morning or mid-afternoon. A sliced apple or a handful of berries makes a great standalone snack. If you're like me and used to have fruit with meals, just try separating it for a few days. You might be amazed at how much better your stomach feels. Combo number 3. Cold drinks with meals. Okay, this one isn't technically a food plus food pairing, but it deserves its spot on the list. I used to love drinking ice-cold water or soda. With my meals, it helped wash down the food, and it felt refreshing. But what I didn't realize was that cold liquids during meals actually weaken digestion. Think of your stomach as a fire. It needs to stay warm and strong to break down food. When you pour cold water on a fire, what happens? It dies down. That's exactly what happens inside you when you drink cold beverages while eating. It slows enzyme activity, hardens fats, and can lead to incomplete digestion. That, in turn, causes gas, acid reflux, indigestion, nutrient malabsorptions. I swapped cold drinks for warm herbal teas or room temperature water. I noticed I digested meals better and didn't feel as heavy afterward. If there's one change you try this week, try this one. Why seniors feel the impact more now. You might be wondering, why does all this matter more after 60? Here's the thing. As we age, our stomach acid naturally declines. so does the efficiency of our digestive enzymes. That means we already face challenges breaking down and absorbing nutrients. When we combine foods poorly, it only makes matters worse. It creates more strain on a system that's already slowed down. And over time, that can lead to nutritional deficiencies, chronic inflammation, poor immunity, mental fog, even weight gain. I used to blame these issues on just getting older, but they weren't inevitable. They were signals, warnings from my body telling me to eat more intelligently. My go-to combinations now. Once I learned how to avoid the worst combos, I started focusing on smart food pairings that actually support digestion and energy. Here are some of my favorite meal ideas now. Grilled salmon plus sautéed greens, warm lemon water, lentil soup plus avocado plus carrot sticks, scrambled eggs plus steamed spinach plus herbal tea, fruit by itself in the mid-morning, or mid-afternoon Greek yogurt unsweetened plus chia seeds, or a few almonds. The difference in how I feel is night and day. My energy is steadier, my belly is calm, and my mind is clearer. What you can do right now? Let's make this simple. Take a look at your last 3 meals. Ask yourself, did I mix fruit with anything? Did I combine protein and starch? Did I drink something cold with the meal? If the answer is yes, don't panic. Just take it as a learning moment. Choose one thing to adjust this week. Here's a starter tip. Eat fruit alone, at least 1 hour before or 2 hours after meals. Try it. You'll feel a difference. My 60s were a turning point. This journey didn't happen overnight. It took mistakes, trial and error, and a whole lot of paying attention to what my body was trying to say. But I can honestly tell you, learning what not to eat together changed everything. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I still slip up. But now I know what to do and how to listen when something doesn't sit right. Healing my gut after years of bad eating. I'll be honest with you, when I first started feeling sluggish and bloated in my 60s, I blamed it on aging. I thought it was normal to feel tired after meals, to have constant gas, or to sleep poorly despite eating what I considered healthy foods. But deep down, I had this nagging sense that something wasn't right. It wasn't until I had a conversation with an old friend, one who had transformed his health after 65, that I started to question everything. He didn't look just good. For his age, he looked vibrant, energized, happy, and when I asked him his secret, he said just one sentence that changed my life. It all starts with your gut. That was the moment the light bulb turned on. All those years of unknowingly combining the wrong foods, meat with potatoes, fruit with meals, cold water during dinner, had taken their toll on my digestive system. I needed to reset. I needed to heal my gut before I could expect any real improvements. And so began the most important phase of my health journey. Step 1. Stop the damage. Healing starts with removing what's harming you. Just like you wouldn't pour water into a leaking bucket. I couldn't rebuild my gut while I was still making the same mistakes. The first thing I did, I stopped mixing conflicting foods. No more fruit with meals, no more protein and starchy carbs in one sitting, and definitely no more ice-cold drinks with dinner. Within just a week of stopping these harmful combos, my gas reduced significantly. I wasn't bloated after meals. I started sleeping more deeply, but that was just the beginning. Step 2. Embrace gut healing foods. Now that I had removed the biggest triggers, I began rebuilding my gut lining. Years of bad digestion can cause inflammation, tiny leaks in the gut lining, called leaky gut, and poor nutrient absorption. So I focused on foods that soothe, repair, and nourish. These became my staples. Bone broth full of collagen and amino acids that rebuild the gut lining. Cooked vegetables, easier to digest than raw, especially carrots, squash, and spinach. Fermented foods, sauerkraut, kefir, and yogurt, unsweetened, helped replenish good bacteria. Ginger tea reduced inflammation and bloating. Oatmeal with flaxseed gave my gut soluble fiber to feed the right microbes. I cut out processed sugar, greasy foods, and anything that made me feel heavy or foggy. I started listening to my gut, literally. If it gurgled or bloated, I took that as a sign and adjusted. And slowly but surely, things started changing. Step 3. Support with supplements. At my age, I knew I wasn't absorbing nutrients as well as I did when I was 30, so I gave my gut some backup with carefully chosen supplements. Probiotics, not all are created equal, but I found one with at least 10 billion CFUs and multiple strains digestive enzymes taken before meals. They helped break down proteins, fats, and carbs more efficiently. L-glutamine. This one was a game changer. It helped repair my gut lining and reduced cravings. Zinc and vitamin D, both essential for immune and gut health, and very commonly deficient in seniors. After adding these, I noticed fewer food cravings, less heartburn, and get the clearer thinking. Step 4. Learn the language of your gut. You know what's funny? We often ignore our gut's signals. I used to brush off burping, gassiness, or sudden tiredness after eating as just getting old. But now I know. Those were messages. My gut was talking to me. If I ate something too heavy, I'd feel bloated. If I combined sugar and starch, I'd get sleepy. If I didn't chew enough, I'd get indigestion. Once I learned how to listen, everything shifted. I started chewing more slowly. I paused between bites. I noticed how I felt after each meal and made little adjustments daily. This mindful eating practice changed everything. the setbacks, and slip-ups. No, I won't pretend this was a perfect, straight road. There were days I craved old comfort foods, like cheesy pasta with meatballs or a big slice of watermelon after dinner. And yes, sometimes I gave in, but instead of feeling guilty, I paid attention. I treated it like an experiment. I asked, how did that make me feel? Was the taste worth the bloating? What can I do better next time? And honestly, the more I tuned in, the less I wanted to go back to old habits. The connection between how I ate and how I felt became too obvious to ignore. How my routine looks now. Let me walk you through a typical gut-friendly day for me now. This isn't a strict diet. It's a new rhythm that just feels good. Morning, warm lemon water to kickstart. Digestion, soaked oats with flaxseed and a few blueberries. Fruit on its own, or in small amounts, a short walk in sunlight. Snack, half an apple or a handful of almonds. Lunch, grilled chicken with cooked vegetables, no rice or potatoes. Herbal tea. Afternoon, yogurt with a few pumpkin seeds, light stretching or breathing exercises. Dinner, lentil soup or baked salmon, with steamed broccoli, chamomile, or ginger tea. Night, light reading, no screens, gratitude journaling. Yes, even this helps digestion by reducing stress. The most unexpected result. Here's something I didn't expect. Healing my gut improved more than just digestion. I sleep deeper now. I have better skin. My joint pain is less. My thinking is clearer. And I've even lost a few stubborn pounds without trying. But the biggest change, I feel more in control of my health than ever before. I'm not just reacting to symptoms, preventing them. And it all started by simply avoiding the wrong food combinations and giving my gut the love it desperately needed. If you're over 60 and you've been struggling with energy, mood, weight, or sleep, take a moment to consider this. Maybe it's not your age. Maybe it's your gut. You're not too old to heal. You're not too far gone. You just need to start listening, the way I finally did. My simple eating formula to stay sharp and energized after 60. I'll never forget the moment I looked in the mirror and realized something had shifted, not in how I looked, but in how I felt. For the first time in years, I woke up with mental clarity. My energy didn't crash by noon. I didn't feel bloated or sluggish after meals. I was actually looking forward to each day, not just surviving it. It wasn't a fancy supplement or some miracle cure. It was my eating formula, and it was built around one simple truth. The right food combinations matter more than we think, especially after 60. After months of trial, error, and small wins, I built a sustainable, gut-friendly, brain-loving routine. In this section, I'll share my simple eating formula, the same one I now follow daily, to keep my energy high, digestion smooth, and mind sharp. Why simplicity matters after 60 in our younger years. Our body is more forgiving. We can mix fast food with soda, dessert with steak, or fruit with bread, and the consequences are minimal. But after 60, our metabolism slows, stomach acid decreases, and digestion becomes more sensitive. That's why I stopped overcomplicating my meals. No more 7-ingredient smoothies or massive buffet-style plates. Instead, I focused on 2 key rules. Eat foods that digest well together. Eat foods that make you feel better, not worse afterwards. Sounds simple, but it took discipline to get there. My morning formula, light, warm, and easy. When I used to eat heavy breakfasts like toast with eggs and cheese, I noticed I felt sleepy right after. My digestion was sluggish all day. Now, I do things differently. Morning rules. No food combos that fight in your stomach. Hydrate before you caffeinate. Keep it warm and soothing. My go-to breakfast. A cup of warm lemon water boosts digestion. Steamed apples with cinnamon and chia seeds, gentle on the gut. Herbal tea, no milk, no sugar. Why this works? Fruits digest very quickly, but when combined with proteins or starches, they ferment and cause bloating. That's why I eat fruit alone or with other light foods. I avoid dairy, eggs, and cold drinks in the morning. The result? I feel lighter, sharper, and more focused throughout the day. My lunch formula: 1 protein, 1 veg, 1 healthy fat. Back in the day, I used to think a balanced lunch meant rice, bread, meat, and salad all crammed onto one plate. Now I know better. Too many food types equals too much work for your gut. So I simplified it. My golden rule for lunch: 1 protein chicken, lentils or fish, 1 cooked veggie broccoli, carrots, or zucchini, 1 healthy fat avocado or olive oil. What? I skip no combining protein with starch like chicken plus potatoes, no dessert or fruit right after meals. No iced drinks while eating my typical lunch plate. Grilled salmon with steamed spinach, olive oil drizzle, herbal tea afterward. I don't tea snack between breakfast and lunch anymore, unless I'm truly hungry. And if I do, I keep it simple, maybe a few soaked almonds or a warm herbal tea. The more I honored this simple formula, the more consistent my energy became. I wasn't getting that post-lunch crash anymore. I felt awake, alert, and best of all, light. My evening formula: eat early, eat light, sleep deep. The biggest mistake I made for years. Eating too much, too late. After 60, our digestive fire is weaker at night. Big, complex meals after sunset, they just sit in your stomach, wreck your sleep, and cause weight gain. So I created a new evening formula: eat before 7 p.m., make it soupy. Brothy or soft, avoid heavy proteins, dairy, and sugar. What my dinner looks like now. A bowl of lentil soup or bone broth. Steamed veggies with a spoon of ghee, chamomile tea, an hour before bed. What I avoid at night. Red meat, pasta, or white rice, cold drinks, or fruit. Eating while watching TV. Once I shifted to this, my sleep dramatically improved. I wasn't waking up groggy or feeling full. I even noticed my dreams becoming more vivid and restful. Bonus. My 3 don'ts that keep me sharp over time. 1. Found a few more food habits that were silently draining me. I call them the 3 food don'ts, and cutting them out made a huge difference. Don't mix fruit with anything else. Fruit digests fast, but if it sits on top of slow digesting food, it ferments. This causes gas, bloating, and sugar spikes. Don't combine proteins and starches. Think meat and potatoes, eggs and toast. These combinations are hard on the stomach and take hours to break down. I now eat either a protein or a starch, not both. Don't drink cold water during meals. Cold drinks slow digestion by solidifying fats and reducing enzyme activity. Now, I sip warm water or tea 30 minutes before or 1 hour after meals instead. The 70-30th rule that keeps me senile. Admit sometimes I want to indulge, and that's okay. So I created a rule I could stick to for life. 70% of my meals follow my food combining formula strictly. 30% leave room for flexibility and joy. This gives me balance. If I want to enjoy a slice of cake at a birthday party, or have a little rice with dal on a Sunday, I can. But I never let the 30% become the new normal. Because now I've tasted how good feeling good can be, and I don't want to go back. What you can do starting today, if I could give you just one takeaway, it would be this. Your body is not broken. It's just asking for the right support, and fixing your food combinations is the most powerful, natural, and affordable way to start. Here's what you can do right now. Don't mix fruits with meals. Eat them alone. On an empty stomach, avoid combining protein with starch. Eat your biggest meal at lunch. And keep dinner light. Listen to how you feel after every meal. It's your guide. Stick to warm water and herbal teas with meals instead of cold drinks. You don't need a complicated diet. You don't need to count calories or starve yourself. You just need to eat smart and eat with awareness. The final thought: I'm not a doctor. I'm not a dietitian. I'm just a 70-something who refused to accept that aging meant decline. And I'm here to tell you there's a better way. You deserve energy. You deserve clarity. You deserve to enjoy your food without the discomfort that used to follow. Fixing my food combinations gave me all of that. And if I can do it, so can you.